So, welcome to In the Court of the Wenton King. Heavy construction. Oh, this is another one of those, you know, The Great Deceiver, Absent Lovers, Vroom Vroom. This is the next one of those, you know, the awesome live albumness, 3 discs. The tour, the great thing about the tour was they formed a company called Bootleg TV who actually filmed every show of the European tour. Which is amazing really, two camera, of which we've seen 2 shows, three shows of, or 1 full show and 2 segments of shows. We've seen London, 2000, and I was there, and you can't see me, unfortunately, because there's only 2 cameras. And we've seen a bit of Rome, which is on this, actually, and a bit of Warsaw as well, which I'm going to review, or the audio of, I think, next week. But regardless of any of that, this is the one. This is the one from this era. But yeah, so Bootleg TV recorded all that, and there was a website where you could say how many shows you wanted, and da-da-da-da-da. So of course I went on there and I went, all of them please. And then they went bust and they ran out of money, and that was the end of that, unfortunately. But DGM seemed to own all the recordings, fortunately. So, in terms of, you know, boxes, big boxes, you never know. Construction of Light box. I hope it wouldn't be, it probably would be, but you know, a 2000 to 2003 box, but I hope it will be a 2000 box, because they've got enough footage, not just audio, footage. It could be like a whole load of Blu-rays and DVDs, like all the shows. That would be amazing, you know, and remaster one of these and all that kind of stuff. Too much to ask for, obviously. But this one, yeah, 184 minutes of audio, 3 discs, 3 CDs, basically a full show from the Europe tour, and a whole disc of effectively ProzaKc 2, all taken from the soundtrack of the show, creating stuff from the improvisations, etc. And that's right, there were improvisations on this tour. We're back to the proper improvisations, not just thracking, doing anything, projecting stuff with Belew. I mean, everyone talks about the disc 3, you know, it's the dangerous new stuff, it's what they should be doing, you know. These are all awesome improvisations they did on this tour because of the new technology, I suppose. New takes on old songs, and 1 mega surprise encore. I heard gasps in the audience. It was great, and I wish I hadn't already known. I already knew this song was coming, but that was great. I also like the fact that they do these little bits where the band splits up for different stuff. So they did Project 3, Deception and the Thrush. And, you know, it means the Construction of Light is kind of redundant. You know, the album is redundant because they play all of it, actually. Although they didn't play Fractured at London, whereas, you know, I mean, 3 of a Perfect Pair, they didn't. You know, not all of 3 of a Perfect Pair is on Absent Lovers, so the album still is a thing, but Construction of Light is almost redundant. I remember reading somewhere someone saying that the sound quality at the London show wasn't as good as the double trio in London in '95. And I remember Trey Gunn actually replying and agreeing for some reason. There was some technical reason. It doesn't have the shininess of the double trio. It's claustrophobic and scary, and a little bit lo-fi maybe. But don't be put off by that. This is a really good live album. Fantastic live album. The other thing we should talk about during the European tour was that Adrian Belew, who was already sort of had already creatively suffered for Construction of Light, had laryngitis for this tour. He actually sounds fine, but not as good as the 90s, and there's lots of effects on his voice. So here we go. Track 1, Into the Frying Pan. As I said, I'm not a fan of that song, and I don't really know why. It was always better as country construction. Although this is a great version, I suppose, of Into the Frying Pan. It's better than the album version. It is a low-key intro to one epic album, really. You know, track 2 is Construction of Light. There's more energy than on the album version. I think later is better. The later you get this song, the better it is. I don't mean recently. I mean, you know, 2003 generally going to be better than 2000 for that one. I mean, maybe this one has an energy that later versions don't have, in that there's more danger, there's more wobbliness because they're less used to it. Track 3, ProzaKc Blues. Yeah, the vocals. King Crimson humour is a thing. It was there right from the start, and you know, manifested itself a lot in '71. I think I prefer the live take when he's doing the silly blues voice rather than the affected blues voice. Everyone shouts elephant talk, which in itself is sort of ironic and funny. It's a bit like the Free Bird thing. There is more awesome soloing, obviously, and that's the great part of ProzaKc Blues. We get to hear some more fantastic bellowing. It seems better now it's gone. You know, now it's not in the band, and obviously Jacko is great, and we've got Mel Collins, obviously, but you know, now it's gone, you realise how great these solos are. Track 4, Improv, München. Is this Project X? When they're doing improvisation, is that Project X? Or maybe it's not, I don't know. Project 3 or 4 rhythm and soundscapes, that kind of stuff. But of course, with Baloo, some cool riffing and soloing. Actually, perfectly fits onto Peter. I don't know what he was worried about what you thought you could do to it. But then the sort of the Baloo chugging with Fripp soloing is a really full sound. So you know, I mean, this Project X, whatever it is, maybe not as dangerous as P4. But this is the perfect intro because that's kind of the generic sound of that particular project, if it's a project. There's a cool ascending thing at the end. Track 5 is One Time, absolute classic of the highlight of the 90s. Tended to be always much the same. I think the vocals probably better in the 90s. Track 6 is Dinosaur, still awesome. Again, better in the 90s. Some changes slightly faster. I think the tempo's gone up a little bit. And the start. There's no drum roll at the start. It just goes straight into the riff, interestingly. It is a different feel. The energy is different. Maybe Fripp is more chilled? I'm not sure. Track 7 is Vroom. Now this is the interesting one because I think this is better than the double trio. I think it worked better with a single drummer going crazy. And I remember live in person really being impressed with Pat Mastelotto, thinking, whoa, you know, really brutal. And then when I heard this, I thought, well, yeah, it's great, but it didn't quite capture the live thing. And even when I heard the London show again, it wasn't quite there. I wonder whether the V drums just don't sound in your face. They don't actually record that well, maybe, don't know. And arguably, I never really appreciated Pat Mastelotto until the 7-piece, actually, maybe. It makes the 90s version sound sort of stately, you know, it's brutal, that's how it should be. Right, track 8, there we go, Fractured. Like I said, they didn't play it in London. Real sense of danger, that's the thing, and that's why this is much more exciting than the album version. It could all go wrong, and almost did occasionally, you know, and this is a great version. This is the one, that's the version of Fractured you want. Then we've got the World's Master Soup Kitchen Floor Wax Museum. Works much better live. I don't think I really appreciated this song until Heavy Construction, actually, until we heard the live versions. It's so much fun, it's a bit like Ladies of the Road kind of fun. And I think there's better versions to come, actually. Alright, track 10, Improv Bonn. And we start with some seriously evil soundscapes and some sound effects, I think, from Belew. And there's some pitch shifter with what I think is sort of dissonant harmonizer. Then the rhythm starts and Gunn comes in with this sort of this plonk 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 kind of thing, and some proper soloing over the top of that, of course, from Adrian Belew. But then in comes Pat Mastelotto, and man, brutal drumming. And Fripp lets rip with, I think, bits of Frying Pan. Absolutely awesome, that bit. And there's a sudden end. Okay, disc 2, which you have to put on. It's only a 6 beat Drink Dream. It's kind of the predecessor to Oyster Soup in a way, I think. Yeah, I mean, it sounds stately by comparison to Oyster Soup, I think. You know, much like early versions of Vroom to this version. It's a good version, though. Okay, so track 2 is another improv, Offenbach. They're like these German improvs. We've got some sort of plodding, cool bass stuff, but it cuts into like a faster, sort of clicky drum pattern type stuff, and some synth piano, which is quite funny, actually. Which, of course, leads into a surprise, really. It's something we've not heard since Vroom. Cage. This is the lounge version of Cage. It's not listed here as the lounge version, but I know that's what it's called. It's really good slowed down. It's actually better slowed down, I think. And it turns out that clicky rhythm, it's actually the Cage rhythm. Adrian laughs at one point, which shows the fun of the live performance and all that. It's what you need from a live album. Then we have Larks, Tongues and Aspic Part 4. Really good version. I think it gets better in 2003, but that's a really killer version of Larks, Tongues and Aspic Part 4. Better than the album version, definitely. It is killer live, you know, and that, of course, at this point, it doesn't have its corresponding talking drum yet. That's not until 2003. The coda is part of the track. It's still there, without vocals, controversially. People saw it as too political and complained on Elephant Talk because, son, you've been reading too much Elephant Talk. It shows how sensitive they were to what people were saying on there. And then, track 5, that's kind of the end of the set, and now we're into sort of the post-set songs, if you like, the sort of encores, kind of. And we have Three of a Perfect Pair. And this is Adrian Belew's solo moment. It's just him and an acoustic guitar playing Three of a Perfect Pair, and that's absolutely fantastic. It's the kind of thing I wish I hadn't looked up the set list before I went to the concert, you know. And then we have track 6, The Deception of the Thrush. And that's Project 3, so Adrian Belew gets a bit of a break. Fantastic version. The drums feel more sort of kind of acoustic maybe. I don't know why. Loads of T.S. Eliot samples on there. When I say T.S. Eliot samples, I don't mean samples of actual T.S. Eliot, obviously. I mean somebody reading it. Second part's got a bit longer, which is great. And utterly fantastic. Maybe that was my favourite one. Maybe I've probably said that before and I'll say it again, but I like that version. And finally, the last track, of course, will be 21st Century... Oh, no, wait. No, it isn't. I heard gasps in the audience as they played Heroes. Great, because you can sing I Will Be King, Crimson. Adrian Belew on vocals, of course, suits the song perfectly. He's brilliant at it. I love the electronic rhythm section, or whatever you call them, ProzaKc. They just really suit this song. It's just great, and it really adds something to it. And of course, it belonged to them in a way. And Adrian did the tour, and Fripp was on the original version. What a concert! And of course, that's not it. That disc contains bits of the Rome gig, and you've got a third disc of basically ProzaKc stuff. Album 2. You realise that the improvs on the main album are quite the vanilla ones. There's all sorts of weird stuff they're doing on the tour. This is awesome. Free Krone. So track 1 is called Sapir. Got the audience cheering, evil project plinking stuff, vocal samples, and really avant-garde at one point. Very sort of Nurse with Wound, genuinely. Dancey bass riff comes in, and the band comes in. Absolutely awesome. Track 2 is Blastic Rhino. Dissonance really cuts in. Don't put it on loud, whatever you do, because it just comes in. Baloo sustain bends into a bass riff, and then a sort of really cool noisy squealing thing. Where track 3, which is Lights Please Part 1. Would the gentleman pass me the camera, please? It's a sample of Fripp saying, "Would the gentleman pass me the camera, please?" The mad music carrying on in the background. Track 4 is Seizures. I'm not quite sure what Seizure is, because this is some soundscapes, and then it's sort of fast and plinky. At 4 minutes 15, it sounds a bit like Highway Star. Track 5 is Off and Back. Not Offenbach, Off and Back. Some Fripp sustains, pensive rhythm, bit meh, bit too long I think. Track 6 is More and Less. Dancey, the drum and bassy thing, the Project 4 thing, and it sort of dies down into avant-garde noises, sort of then comes back in again. Some silly drum effects, I mean almost groon. Almost groon there, and silly piano stuff and the crowd cheering, so that's great. Track 7 is Beautiful Rainbow. The nice sort of the Chinese delay effects. Baloo doing that thing but with soundscapes. And then it sort of gets meaty towards the end with cool drumming, Fripp soloing, and then into a sort of Nurse with Wound evil rhythm. Some of this is extreme stuff. It's probably the most extreme project disc, I think. Track 8 is 70s. So much of this is due to Baloo creating the texture, interestingly. So it's different to all the other projects because of that. This is essentially just Baloo soloing. Track 9 is Tomorrow Never Knew Thaler, including Tomorrow Never Knows. And there's different versions of this. I never quite figured out where they come from, but we'll talk about that on a later episode. But it's great. Lots of fun. What a great choice. Lots of effects on the voice. It's a stop-start and eventually just goes into mad soloing. Baloo soloing is a bit like the backwards stuff on Tomorrow Never Knows, actually. Maybe there's an inspiration there. Track 10 is Ubu, with lots of umlauts. All sorts of mad stuff. It's kind of a hodgepodge of bits and pieces, and the audience clap for more. Cool. Track 11, we've got another Deception of the Thrush. This is a really good one. Maybe this one's more extreme, a bit more over the top, so they chose a more normal one for the main album. Maybe part 2 isn't as good as on disc 2. And you've got lots of audience again waiting for the encore. And then track 12 is The Arena of Terror. Evil sounds, bit of the intro to Cage, nice Fripp sustained stuff, typical project stuff really. And then finally, track 13, Lights Please Part 2. Pass me his camera. The audience heckles, sound effects, get that camera. The audience shouts, really strange sound effects and stuff, and then the audience cheer. How is everything? Please no photos, okay? And that's it. That's the end of the album. Yeah, fantastic. Wow, what an album. See you next week.